So one more race left to go, and it is for the Fixer Wheel Production Cup. Now, for those who were watching what they could of the stream earlier on, you'll have noticed that essentially the Production Cup is a sprint version, effectively, of what we know as the Club Sport Trophy. The class structure is very similar. The maximum power to weight ratio is the same, 235 brake horsepower per tonne. But the difference being is that there is an extra class, Class F, and on top of that, they also have an extra category racing with them, which is the brand new for 2025. Also, the Silver Lake DS3 Cup for the Citroen DS3. There are 6 on the grid this weekend, and looking to put on a good show here. Just seeing I think that's Tim Hartland, who's sharing the car with Stuart Mead this weekend. Tim Hartland and Stuart Mead, who are racing in the I think Club Sport Trophy yesterday, but good to see them back out. Former Supersport Endurance Cup champions, the first ever overall Supersport Endurance Cup champions, and they're out in a slightly different VW than normal. They're usually out in a VW Scirocco, but instead they're in an old school Golf Mark II. I think that's possibly an ex-Production Cup Mark II Volkswagen Golf. I remember the name Tim Hartland, I think, from the Production Cup days. He's kept that car, and now it's quite suitable for Production Cup in here too. But you can see the majority of the field is effectively hot hatches. You've got Renault Clios, you've got BMW Compacts, you've got the Citroen DS3 Cup car. There's a BMW 116 in there too as well. You've got a couple of Mazda MX-5s. The Renault Clio is quite a popular car in this series. There's a few Peugeot 206s. We've got a Ford Fiesta ST150, which has got Matt McCarthy behind the wheel. Some Mazda MX-5s in there as well, including BRCC's very own sporting manager Luke Souch. So did himself quite well in that first race, got himself just on the verge of the top 10 and a class podium as well, I think, in Class E. So well done to him for doing a grand job. Here's the grid then. So Robert Buckland, as a result of winning race 1 earlier on, will start on pole alongside Paul Hoggins. Then it's Colin Dunn and Oliver Barsby, with David Richardson and Ben Taylor next on the 3rd row. Dale Edwards and Jared Coulson come next from Richard Sutherland and Cavan Taylor. Then Luke Souch on the 6th row alongside James Eastham in his Peugeot 206 GTI. Row 7 is where we find Gerard Merriman and Andrew Walsh, who was racing in the MGF Cockshoot Cup yesterday. We have Theo Longman, who is on the front row for the Citroen DS3s alongside Stephen Oates. Then it's Dave Tyson and Ralph Budd, followed by Jake Brook and Jude McGreevy. Then it will be John Martin and Rich Hockley, followed by Jasper Sapra and Eliza Seville. Hopefully, if they are there, I think they should be. As we scroll down through the grid, there were 2 cars in that first race that had 1 or 2 technical issues throughout the race, but Jazz Sapra and Eliza Seville were 2 cars that made it into the pit lane before. And then we move forwards into the next part of the grid. We'll go from 25th downwards. We should scroll through in a moment's time. And once it does, we'll be able to tell you who's lined up in 25th. So coming up to the end of lap 2 in the Fixed Wheel Production Cup race. And it's looking pretty tight at the top between Robert Buckland and Oliver Barsby. Paul Hoggins in the mix as well. The exact problem for Oliver Barsby, he's slow out of the hairpin, and he held up both Paul Hoggins and the rest of the cars behind. It's let Robert Buckland escape, but Oliver Barsby either just couldn't get a gear or just slowed down to the corner, couldn't really find the momentum. And as a result, it looks as though that we've had him just trying to find a bit more pace. Now Ben Taylor's gone back up the inside to hold on for 4th position, make that 5th now because the MX-5 has gone through. 6th place for David Richardson in the Audi TT. Callum Houch in 7th, who's made some good progress from towards the back of the grid. 8th is now Dale Edwards, 9th is Jared Coulson, and 10th is Matt McCarthy in the Ford Fiesta ST150. It is then 11th place for Merriman, 12th for Taylor, 13th for Easton, 14th for Souch, and 15th for Liam Cochrane. So down towards the hairpin they go. That's Luke Souch battling away with the 777, which is Taylor Easton. This is over 13th and 14th place. The cars in the mix are getting around each other, looking quite close. I think that was Liam Cochrane was involved in that as well.
Yeah, so it is getting, we've got the last sort of 10 minutes of the race day, and the sun is starting to lower a little bit here at Donington Park, but there's going to be an opportunity for an overtake, and the 994 does get through. Cochrane does get through on Easton in the 777 Peugeot 206 GTI, and the Mazda having the legs on the vehicle down the back straightaway. But here goes Easton again, under braking, the Peugeot a bit more planted, the front nose dips into the tarmac, and he manages to get his way past, as we've got a couple of the Clios at the moment, but it is still the 75 of Robert Buckland. The Clio Sport 182 is leading, and he's ahead of the Mark II Audi TT, the 158, as one of the cars looks to rejoin. That is the Mark II Golf GTI that's just come out of pit lane. So, which I didn't quite catch the number of the vehicle. However, Hoggins last time round did a 1 minute 49.951, as there is the number 19. That's another of the Clios. Colin Dunn for Dunn Motorsport and Positive Perception in the Clio Sport 172. And there is the gap you see between the top three. It was 2.2 seconds after the opening 3 laps on this 21st and final race of the BRSCC Nankang Tyre Summer Race Meeting here at Donington Park, amidst the full Grand Prix loop. A little bit further back, there is the 101 of RSR Robotics, Oliver Barsby in the Honda Civic Type R FK2 variation. As once again, the 158 of Hoggins and the Mark II Audi TT trying to close that gap on Rob Buckland. And that gap last time was 1.5 seconds. It's not even that as they go into the braking zone. And Dunn is not that far behind, neither is Barsby. So it is going to be a very, very close affair for the second half of this race in the Fixed Wheel Production Cup alongside the Silver Lake DS3 Cup. And Rob Buckland chucks it into Goddard's and obligatory the front-wheel drive, front-engined Clio Sport 182 cocks the left rear wheel into the air, and the gap between the top two now is just under 1.2 seconds. Fastest lap of the race now is in the hands of the 101 of Oliver Barsby in the Honda Civic Type R, and he is really closing in on Colin Dunn. Meantime, under braking, the number 84 Mazda MX-5, one of the more later generations, very much in the vein of the global Mazda MX-5 Cup car used in the Whelen Global, the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Championship that runs alongside the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship over in the USA. But as you can see, that they haven't taken out the fuse that stops the hazard lights from blinking on that car when the ABS gets engaged, when the brakes are pressed down quite firmly. So that is the 84 of Taylor versus the number 50, David Richardson for Garage 23 in the 2-litre TFSI Audi TT. But again, this battle for the top 4 really heating up as we head into the final 6.5 minutes. So Buckland looking for 2 overall victories. Hoggins leads Class B. Barsby has the new fastest lap of the race of 1:48.532. So this is going to be very, very close towards the end of this race as the headlights are ablaze on the 141. And that is of the Class D entered fixed wheel or FAW motorsport car run by Jared, the Clio 200 run by Jared Colson. A bit further back, got the 291 and the 994 of Zouch and Cochrane battling away. Just in front, they've got Eastham diving up the inside of Zouch, through on the inside at the first part of Coppice. And now, here tries Cochrane to go through on the Peugeot, but the Peugeot is going to be mighty under the brakes into the Fogarty S as we return to the race lead. As Buckland holds on, the gap now just over a second. And more to the point, Barsby looking up the inside of Dunn, going through into Redgate, the front end bouncing up and down a bit on the Honda Civic Type R FK2. As Dunn able to stretch the legs a little bit, as now Buckland finding back marker traffic. Now this could be crucial as he gets through the number 2 of the Jeff Steele Racing BMW 116 of John Martin. And now it's a case of Buckland's on the flashers saying, right, you're slower traffic, I'm leading, I need to get through. This could give an opportunity to Hoggins, could give an opportunity to Dunn. Barsby, if he can ramp up the ante a little bit, might also have the window of opportunity as we head into the final 4 minutes and 40 seconds of this race. And Barsby very quickly getting through on what was the Peugeot 107, the number 13 of Jude McGreevy, as the number 19 of Colin Dunn throws it through into the Fogarty S's. A little bit further back, well, it's a Mazda MX-5 Mark 1 sandwich with Peugeot 206 GTI meets in the middle as they go up through Starkeys into Schwantz Curve. And it is going to be a case of, can the 777 of James Easton for Pemberton Glass and Racing dive up the inside? He's going to give it a try through at McLean's, but the Mazdas have a little bit more purchase. When you put the traction down, nearly 3 abreast going through into Coppice for the first and second parts of it, and round the outside is trying to go the 994 of Liam Cochrane for the Focus Partnership Chartered Accountants Turner Property Services Mazda MX-5 Mark 1, which has got the inside line. But Easton from Pemberton Glass and Racing decides, no, you've got to do better than that to get through on me at the Fogarty S's. There is the race leader, Rob Buckland, and he's got a fast charging 158 Paul Hoggins, the privateer in the Mark II Class A Audi TT. And Colin Dunn, along with the 101 of Oliver Barsby, they are literally 3.6 seconds apart from first to fourth, as we are coming towards the conclusion of the Fixed Wheel Production Cup. Meantime, in the Silver Lake DS3 Cup, unfortunately, it looks like that the first driver in that, well, our winner in the previous race, which was Alan Purble, unfortunately unable to get that car out. It will be out for the next race of the season, I'm sure. But at the moment, it is going to be the number 16 of Theo Longman leading the Silver Lake DS3 ahead of the number 14 of Tyson, with the number 67 of Stefan Oates from SMO Racing rounding out the top 3 in that. But Buckland has got 2.25 minutes remaining. He still has kept things at bay as Hoggins goes grass cutting through Goddard's on what is going to be the, I think there's going to be 1 + 1 more, so 2 more laps to go, Scott Woodris, after what has been a very, very demanding race weekend.
Certainly has, from start to finish, for more than one, for many reasons, both very much on track. But the race continues on in the final couple of stages now of our second Fixed Wheel Production Cup race. And it's still Robert Buckland who has a 2-second lead over Paul Hoggins in second place. This is the fight for second, third and fourth. There goes Buckland. There goes Hoggins trying to push his way through. In his last lap he was 0.6 of a second slower. So he will now make his way up the hill. Dunn is in third place. Barsby fourth and Richardson completed the top 5. Callum Houch in 6th. But it's Ben Taylor 7th. Class leaders, we've got Buckland leading in Class A, Paul Hoggins in Class B, Couchin leads Class C, Coulson leads Class D. And then you've got actually 5 of the 6 class leaders in the top 10, because Dale Edwards in Class E leads in 9th. Matt McCarthy is in 10th. And Jared Coulson also leads Class D in 8th position. The only other class leaders we have is Class F, where Juba Greavy is 3 seconds ahead of the BMW of Martin. And as you said, in the DS3 Cup, it's Theo Longman ahead of Dave Tyson and Stefan Oates in the top 3 at this point. So coming on to what I'm sure will be, it's going to be hopefully a run onto the I think we're on to the final lap of the race. We're coming up towards the final lap of the race now, and a bit of traffic around. Is there a bit of change to believe? I think there has, because Paul Hoggins Nick has caught and passed. No, sorry, no, he hasn't. It's Colin Dunn. I thought it was the two blue Clios that are very similar, but they didn't change around. Buckland still leads. It's all closing up. As there's a bit stuck behind a back marker. That was Hoggins and Dunn in second and third positions. Hoggins still holding on from Dunn in front, and Barsby's pace isn't quite the same as it was. He was quick, of course, when we first saw him out at Alton Park and was up towards the front, but he's not quite running the same pace as he was hoping in that car, and that's a car that's still kind of really under development a little bit going forward. So it's still him trying to get as high as he can. We're on to the last lap of the race, and we'll see whether or not Buckland can hold on for victory. 3.5 seconds to the good now out in front, from 3.5 seconds of Hoggins in second place, Dunn in third, Barsby in fourth, Richardson fifth, and it's Houch and Taylor, Coulson, Edwards and McCarthy rounding off the top 10 still. And it's been one of those races where everyone's started to spread out a little bit more, but Buckland seems though he's under control, and I think compared to last time, he hasn't had to wait for a Honda Civic to drop out in front of him. This time he's been clear out in front, held the lead. Looks like he's about to rattle off his second win of the weekend and of the series for the Fixed Wheel Production Cup.
Yes, indeed, Scott. As Rob Buckland, very, very happy when I spoke to him earlier on after race 1, and more to the point, it is going to be a second win in a row for the number 75 for Rob Buckland, the Renault Clio Sport 182, the number 75 for Team Buckland Racing. He is going to head his way down to the Melbourne hairpin for the final time of this race. And also with that, well, there is the 26 of Jake Brook in the Garage 23 DS3. But meantime, it's powering out of Melbourne hairpin for the final time. One more corner, one final checkered flag to wave here to conclude the Nankang Tyre Summer Race Weekend here at Donington Park. And it's going to be 2 for 2 for Rob Buckland and the number 75 Renault Clio 182 Club Sport. Second over the line will be the 158, and that is of Paul Hoggins, the privateer in the Audi Mark II TT, and it's going to be Colin Dunn bringing it across the line to round out third. Meantime, it's going to be the number 16 of Theo Longman that's going to win race 2 of the Silver Lake DS3 Cup here at Donington Park. And then it's going to be I think it's going to be Dave Tyson in the number 14, and then in the 67 will be Stefan Oates rounding out the top 3. So a few more drivers to cross the line after the end of what has been a really interesting Fixer Wheel Production Cup second race, as a few more drivers to cross the line. So we've still got around about 5 to 8 drivers. That is going to be McCarthy. That's Mac McCarthy in the Team Evil Racing Fiesta ST150 that crosses the line. And then next up in Class D, it's going to be the number 99 of Caban Taylor. And then the number 51 of Gerard Merriman that will cross the line in another one of the Renault Clio Cups. Then we'll have the Mazda MX-5s coming up across the line very, very shortly. One of which will be the 291 of Luke Souch for Precision Motorsport. And, well, the 777 of James Easton for Pemberton Glasson Racing. The Peugeot 206 takes 15th, head of Longman, Tyson Oaks, Brook, McGreevy, Martin, Heartland and Sutherland. That was the number 63. Stuart Mead, the VW Golf, I believe, that was due to be run by Stuart Mead, but we had Heartland behind the wheel of that one. And then, of course, the number 18, Richard Sutherland for the Tartan Tuning Remap Aberdeen BMW E36 318 Ti Compact.
So Robert Buckland jumps out of his two-time race-winning Renault Clio from today. This time he didn't have to inherit it from Honda Civic on the final lap in race one like he did earlier on. Still a good drive though to get the victory, but this one he managed to hold on from start to finish. Colin Dunn's happy with his third place. Let's bring Robert over and have a quick chat as well. Robert, congratulations, 2 from 2. That one was a little more straightforward than having to watch Richard drive away and then see him stop.
He already kept me honest at the start. Like, he's got a little bit more legs in the straight line than me, but managed just to keep him behind long enough that I could then get a bit of a gap, and then it wasn't too bad after that. And then once we caught some back markers, I had a comfortable lead that I could just not so much ease off a bit, but just not push it as hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, car felt good. Back end was starting to go near the end. I think the tyres are about shot now. But yeah, she's done good.
Yeah. And of course, such a great varied field. Of course, the Production Cup is a bit like a sprint version of Club Sport, but gives you lots of hot hatches and cars like the TTC MX-5. It's a great grid of cars. It's a great way to go racing. It's like Club Sport in the spirit of it, but you've got all sorts of different great hot hatches and stuff in there in the mix as well.
It's all very close as well, you know. So it's a great field of cars, great drivers, good clean racing. Yeah, you couldn't ask for more.
Yeah. Listen, you've driven superbly all day. Well done.
Fantastic.
Go and enjoy it.
You.
Hopefully we'll see you next time. Let's have a chat with Paul Hoggins and we have a quick chat as well. He's just observing his Audi TT. Paul, well, second place nonetheless overall. Good effort from you, and talk us to how your day's been.
It's been excellent, really. Yeah, a few scuffs along the way, as you can probably tell. A few on the back end as well, but yeah, really fantastic race, really. Yeah. And no rain, which was even better. So it was good battle between these two. Front of me and behind me as well. So yeah, so to say a good thank you to Matt Highcock Racing, who does a lot of tuition to me as well, and it's paying off by the look of it.
Yeah. And this TT, of course, you originally raced in the TT Cup, but it's been quite diverse. You've raced it in, well, all sorts across different BRSCC and other series as well, but it seems to fit quite nicely into Production Cup class structure as well.
Yes, it does, yeah. It's not quite as expensive as the TTs either. Yeah, those boys a bit more richer than I am, but yeah, it's been a good day.
Good stuff. Can they come back for some more?
If you wish, yes.
If you ask you nicely.
If you ask me nicely, yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Well done. Good effort today. We'll see you next time. Let's bring Colin Dunn in as well. Colin for third place as well on top of him as well. Colin, congratulations. Good third place effort. You were happy with the third place when you got that little bang of the roof. You happy with that?
Very happy with that. It's only my second proper podium outright before. A lot of class racing before, so very happy with that. Had a good race with the guys behind us. And yeah, much better than the first race because I nearly put it off.
Yeah. And of course, you've obviously one of your first experiences in Production Cup as well. How are you finding it as a series? You liking the fact it's a good mixture of hot hatches, some good close racing, good mix of cars in there. It's a decent little series to get off the ground. Yeah,
I've done all 3 rounds so far at Alton and Snetterton, and we've always had someone to race really closely with, and it's always been fair and clean. And as you can see, 3 of us have come off, and we've all got a great big smile on our face.
That's how it should be. Ready for the next one?
Yeah, should be. Yeah, doesn't need much doing. Just oil change, and we'll be out again.